Hi, I'm Ron Quint. Broadly speaking, the wine world is divided into Old World and New World. And I'm here to discuss this today with Nick, Michael, and Noon. Michael, tell us a little bit about Old World, New World, and how you can use that as a strategy at the Boston Wine Expo.
All right, well, we only have a couple of minutes here, but this is really a subject that could go on for hours. But basically speaking, the Old World is Europe, and the New World is really anything outside of Europe. New World wines tend to be a little bit more fruit-forward, tend to be a little bit more, just kind of friendly right out of the bottle. Old World wines tend to have more of what we call terroir. Now again, this isn't true in all situations, but more earthiness. The tannins are a little bit grippier, firmer, a little bit more astringent. And I say these terms not derogatory terms, but more as just kind of characteristics. So if you were at home and you drink Argentinian Malbec, if you drink California Pinot Noir, and you want to try something in the Old World, it's going to be different than what you experience, just because of where the wine's grown, the wine-making styles. If you go to Burgundy, it's a great place to try out a Pinot Noir that you can then compare to your California Pinot Noir. If you want to try Bordeaux, and you're a big fan of Napa Valley Cabernet, you can definitely see some similarities between climate, between soil, between winemaking philosophies. So really, it's a huge, huge world out there that there's more wine being produced today at better quality levels than ever before, both in the Old and New World. So to try to divide it up is kind of difficult, but you have to know going in what you like to drink. And if you can find these parallels between what you drink at home and you go onto the Wine Expo website and you find these regions in the Old World or the New World, if you're only an Old World wine drinker, which is great as well, find some of these regions where you can draw lines to, and then you can target them and really get a great experience and find out what your palate enjoys. Do you enjoy a New World producer that produces wines of an Old World style or using an Old World grape? So really just have some fun with it. Again, there's no right or wrong answers. It's about just, again, as you always say, drink what you like, find what you like, and this is the perfect opportunity to really discover and hone in what it is exactly that your palate likes.
Nick, what's your take on Old World and New World, and how would you use that as a strategy for the Boston Wine Expo?
I think the Boston Wine Expo provides the perfect opportunity for those that want to learn a little bit more about wine. I mean, to get a ticket and then be able to go there and just experience all these different wines is a very, very rare opportunity, one that doesn't come along very often. And especially we here as American wine drinkers, often we really put a focus on the varietal. And other wine drinkers from other countries, put focuses on different things. We put focus on the varietal. All the wines we have from California, or most of them, are usually about the varietal and, is it a Pinot Noir, is it a Cabernet, is it whatever. But how the Wine Expo is set up, especially this year, how it's set up by region are the four main parts. Again, there's a Mediterranean Europe, there's the rest of Europe, and then there's North America, and then the Southern Hemisphere. So those four parts. It really gives you a great opportunity to make your world really small. And that's a very, very good opportunity because you can go in there and say you're a Sauvignon Blanc drinker that love Sauvignon Blancs from Napa Valley. You can go in, taste a couple new producers from Napa Valley for Sauvignon Blanc just by looking at the internet a little bit beforehand. And then you can also go over and okay, let's try Sauvignon Blanc from Bordeaux. So you can take 15 minutes and really go into the New World and discover the wines there, and then discover the same exact grape from the Old World. And you can do that with Sauvignon Blanc, you do it with Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris, Cabernet, and what Michael mentioned, trying Napa Valley Cabernets, and then trying them from Bordeaux and seeing the difference and really experiencing the difference from yourself. I think that that's a huge advantage that you have at the Expo.
And it just goes on and on, right? Because it's so much easier to divide into two broad categories than to remember every region of every part of every country. It's quite overwhelming. Noon, what's your strategy for taking an Old World, New World approach to the Boston Wine Expo?
Well, like you say, it's hard because it's such a broad category, Old and New World. I think that my strategy is just to identify your own palate, to be able to recognize what speaks more to you, what you can identify with, and what you appreciate more. Generally, we would think of old wines as having a little bit more structure, a little bit more elegant, and it speaks to you slowly. It delivers its message in a smoother way, in a less showy way. But when you think about New World, because of the the warmer climates, the new technology that we are using, it's very showy. It's right there up front. So I think the most important thing is just to be able to identify your own palate, which better communicates to you, which do you prefer, and then you can go from there.
Well, I love your point. Nick, you have one other thing to add.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that especially when going to an event like this, there's going to be a lot of people pouring wine there, and there are no, I think the most important thing is there are no wrong questions or stupid questions or anything else. Like if you have something and you have a question on a particular wine, or even if you're looking to try something, if you enjoy Argentinian Malbecs and you're in the California section, to ask the people behind the tables and the people that are pouring, like, hey, I like this, what would I like? Or this is interesting, this seems tart. You know, to really keep an open mind and just be ready to experience some new things.
Michael, what about you? What would be your focus?
Well, I mean, one kind of interesting strategy that that might not be what people think of right away is, think about climate. Do you like wines that are coming from Oregon, or do you like wines that are coming from Napa? Oregon's a cooler climate. Napa's a warm climate. And then look around the world. Where else are you going to find a similar climate? So in Oregon, it's cool, kind of a little bit rainy. Well, that translates well to Burgundy. That translates well to kind of northern parts of France. It's not super hot. But if you like Napa, think about your Mediterranean regions where it's sunny, it's warm. You have, nice, rich wines like southern Italy, like Greece, like southern Spain. So look at climates. That's just it won't replicate the exact experience that you'll find in Burgundy, in Oregon. But if you look at these similarities, you're going to find a lot more in common than you will find in differences.
And Noon, what about you?
For example, I like to eat Mediterranean-based food, especially grilled seafood. Hey, what do you think? Greece, maybe? French? Yeah? Maybe some nice, crisp, light white wine.
There you
might
go.
be able to find something out there. If you like a piece of steak, where would you go? Argentina? Maybe. California? Maybe. So what do you order when you're there? That might be a good research opportunity for you, just to go down that aisle and see what they have.
Well, I love the point that you made, Noon, because research is really what the Wine Expo is all about. And so using an old world, new world approach will lessen your anxiety, build your confidence, and ultimately give you a more enjoyable experience, because you can take the lessons learned today, apply them, and again, hopefully it will maximize your experience. Thank you. I'm Ron Quince.